Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at belisiofoods.com/careers.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the TGIF edition of the morning show right here on Main Street TV. Of course, Jennifer here to start off your Friday show with some good friends. And we're going to talk all things 4-H and extension and all of that. So welcome.
Thank you.
Of course. And could you all explain or tell everybody who you are and what your new positions are?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. It's good to meet you. My name is Maddie Allman. I am the new 4-H Youth Development Extension Educator here in Jackson County.
That's right.
Yeah, and my name is Josh Winters. I'm the new Ag Natural Resources Educator here in Jackson County.
Okay, so if you want to put them into perspective, we have the new Aaron Daly and the new Dave Samples.
Yeah, Dave hasn't been around for a little while.
Hasn't been around for a while, and we have not had your position for quite some time.
Yep,
so
16 years.
Yeah. Gosh, has it been that long?
It's been 16 years, so it's something that Jackson desperately needed.
Yes, it totally is. We have that wonderful, facility out on Standpipe and all the things going on, and we need to keep it all up and going. Yeah. So, all right. So, Maddie, could you tell us a little bit about what your job entails? I know many people knew Erin Daly, and she was here for quite some time, and just things happened, but I don't know that people understand the extent of all that you do, which is a ton.
Yes. Yeah. So anything youth development, that's me. So Jackson County has over 500 4-H members, and then we reach up to 2,000 kiddos in Jackson County through school education, after-school programs, in-school programs, just all of the above. And so it is my job to provide positive youth development programming to our youth in this county. So through 4-H, of course, everyone knows about the county fair. A lot of that is our kiddos at the county fair. We also have several overnight camping programs in the summer, from beginner camp, junior camp, STEM camp, teen camp, all kinds of camp. And there's lots of after-school programs and activities for kiddos to do. So really excited to get going and kind of get things started here in Jackson.
And you grew up, you said, in Vinton County, so pretty close, pretty local girl.
Yes, yeah.
And did you participate in 4-H?
Absolutely, I did. Yeah,
Me too.
I was a 10-year 4-H member in Vinton County. I did things at the county, state, and national, and even international levels. So
wow.
Lots
Good
of 4-H experience.
And that's wonderful. And, we've talked a lot about what 4-H I think it molds children from the time they start. It makes you the person that you are, or it's very instrumental in making you the person
absolutely
that you are. And you learn so many life skills along the way and all of that. And I just can't talk enough about 4-H. I literally was able, the way my birthday fell, to participate in the fair like the year after I went to college.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I came back and I was like, really sad when I couldn't do it anymore, even though I was in college. I was like, I really would just like to come back and do this stuff.
Yeah. Well, you can come back. You can apply to be a volunteer. Volunteers, I think a lot of people think that they have to be a club advisor and that they have to meet once a month with a club. Of course, that's a great way to volunteer, and we love our 4-H club advisors, but you can come back. You can be an adult camp staff volunteer. You can help with the fair if that's what your time allows. You can help with after-school programs. So there's lots of ways to be a volunteer after you age out of 4-H.
Okay. Well, I guess she told me. No, that's very good. Yeah, I know, right? Very good. And that would be very fun because it would get you back. Even though you're not participating yourself, you can help others and give that knowledge that you have and experience to another kid to help them succeed.
Yeah. And sometimes it's like you get to be a kid again.
Outhouse races and stuff. That's so funny. But no, I think that's the cool thing about 4-H is I can remember being 9 years old and not having a clue what I was doing. I had just, started riding lessons, and I had showed horses, and like I just was so lost as a 9-year-old. And, I remember those advisors and all of the big kids stepping in and helping me and all of that. And then it's so funny how quickly the tables turn.
Yes.
But that's what 4-H is all about. So then the older kids help the younger kids. It's pretty neat stuff. So, all right. So, Josh, let's talk a little bit about your job. And since it hasn't, been a thing in like 16 years, let's talk about what it is that you're going to be doing here in Jackson.
Yeah, so we're basically building a program from scratch. I know looking into Jackson's really big on beef, big on forage. So that's kind of the areas we're going to hit on, the topics we have to hit. But my specialty is more on like small ruminants, kind of like goats and urban gardening. I grew up on a goat farm in Gallipolis.
Okay.
So I come from a little bit of a small livestock background.
Yeah.
But with that, we're going to be bringing programs, to fit the county in the beef and forage.
That's really cool. And so a lot of people drive out, you drive out by Carmen's, out Standpipe, and you see the extension center off to the left, and you see, I think they have sheep in there, and they have cattle and whatever. And it's like, I don't know that anybody really thinks about why they're there or whose they are or whatever. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So what the farm does is they do a bunch of research for Ohio State. So what extension really is, it's like brings the college information that they do, all the research and everything, down to the counties. So that individual research facility, they do different types of research for the college. So someone would have like a research on if cattle are grazing, like different types of grazing habits they do that, they report it, and then they finish their research through there. So it's actually just like test plots that Ohio State uses.
And is that why you see them moving around quite a bit?
Yes, correct. They do a bunch of different grazing research out there.
Okay. And so now and because I can remember being a little girl, and like where Carmen's is now, that's where my grandparents lived. And so being a little kid, I always, being in love with horses and being in love with animals, I always wanted to go over and like pet the cows or do something. And they were always like, no, you can't, because those are like off limits. And it was just really hard.
Well, we do have programs where you can interact with the animals. We just did a beef AI training just the other day, which is beef artificial insemination. So we had participants go out and they were able to handle and work with the cattle.
Wait. No, that's way too much knowledge about the beef. Were there a lot of gloves involved?
Oh, yeah. You
really
wear
long
gloves
gloves.
and practice, and you get to learn that different skill. You get that.
No.
I was not a part of that.
I'm sorry. That's just great. So are you actually teaching people how to do that, or just?
Yeah, so that was put on by the Pike and Adams County for, extension educators. So they came in and they got different groups that were interested in learning about how to AI their herds. So they came in, they got to teach proper methods and how to use it. And then the last day they got to go out and they actually got to put the classroom into practice out there. So it's those different types of things that they do out there on the research farm, which is really good for the community and all the farmers who need it.
Yeah. And that's the thing, Ohio State is obviously a college. You're learning. And that's the whole thing. It's always a learning experience. So that's really, really cool. So what will your day-to-day look like? What will you be doing?
It's different every day. So one day I could be putting on a program. So on Monday we were putting on that program about AI, helping get all that worked out. And then yesterday I was out with, if you ask any farmer in the county, they'll know who Earl Leemaster is. He's one of the oldest and most knowledgeable farmers in Jackson County. He took me out yesterday and showed me all around just Jackson County, just the different croplands that they have, more of the southern part of the county. And, he told me the history of his old farms, what he used to do. And so he can tell you 1986, what type was corn yielded that year. So
you're kidding.
So a bunch of knowledge that you can do. So
love that.
It all depends on the day.
And I think that this is just my opinion, but I think that growing up down here, we don't appreciate or understand the farming aspect of our rural area. When it like came to be was like when I went to college in Columbus, and then would have friends come down and they would be like, oh my God, there's a cow, or there's corn in a field. Oh my God, I've never seen that before. And I'm like, what? Like, or a deer.
Yeah.
I have like 20 in my yard every day. Like, it's not a big deal. And so you don't realize how cool that is and how important our area is and what those farmers are doing, I think.
Yeah, so it's very important around the county. So like I said, they're feeding America. They're getting their cattle, shipping them out, and helping the supply chain.
Right. And so when you're driving by and seeing all that, you got to appreciate that, because that doesn't happen everywhere. We think it does because it happens in our backyard, but you don't understand that it's, the rural area or the urban areas, they don't have cornfields or cows or anything like that. If they do, they've escaped from somewhere.
Yep. My college roommates are 2 engineers and a business student. They had no idea what my degree was in. So
they're like, you do what?
Exactly.
Doesn't make any sense. All right. So Maddie, you were telling me that 4-H enrollment is coming up. And honestly, it's been a few years since I was in 4-H. So I had forgotten that there's actually a time frame where you sign up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So can we talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So November 1st is our big day. So November 1st is the day that enrollment begins. And then here in Jackson County is April 15th is when our enrollment ends. So you have from November 1st to April 15th to submit your enrollment,
Pretty
get
big window.
involved into a club. Yes. And so if you're interested in being a 4-H volunteer, helping with a club, helping with camps, whatever it may be that you're interested in volunteering for, I will have an advisor training sometime late this fall, and then again in the early spring, January, February time.
Okay.
And so you'll get your advisor training hours in. We'll help you get your application submitted, and then you will have to pass background check to work with our youth. And then our 4-H kiddos will also apply to be 4-H members. We'll get them in their clubs, get them enrolled in some cool projects, and then get our 4-H season going in the spring.
And that is so very, very cool. And so, okay, let's talk about like different clubs. And I can remember when, again, being a 9-year-old girl that doesn't know anything about anything with 4-H or my projects or whatever, there was at that time a horse club. So it was like, okay, well, you end up in the horse club. Mm-hmm. But there are so many different 4-H clubs now. How do kids get fit within the proper clubs? Like, how does that work? Do you help match them up?
Yeah, so I think the first thing to note is a lot of people's misconception with 4-H is that 4-H is just the animals at the fair.
Yes.
And that's not necessarily true. I mean, 4-H, we have over 1,000 projects that you can do, anything from robotics to clothing to our livestock at the fair.
Sure.
And so I know a lot of people here in Jackson County live in town Jackson, and they can't have livestock. They can't have animals.
Right.
And so those kiddos can still get involved in the 4-H program by taking what we call a non-livestock project or a general project.
Yes.
And so we have a wide range of clubs. We have, I think, 34 clubs in Jackson County.
Wow.
We do have some that are specific to horses or to livestock, but we also have some clubs that are specific to other things like shooting sports, clothing. And so those members can join those clubs. So I have all of that information at the extension office. They can contact me and I can get them information, whether that's a club that meets in their local area, so they don't have to drive as far to meet once a month or whatever it may be. I can get them connected maybe with someone they might know who's a 4-H advisor, a 4-H volunteer, maybe kids with their schools, or again, those project areas that are specific that might interest them.
So basically, and that's the thing, you're kind of the concierge that kind of hooks
Yes.
people up with the right people.
Yes.
And I think that's the main thing. And it could be like a kid maybe doesn't have transportation or whatever. So you go down the road to that club because that's the most convenient for you. And so it just depends on the child and all of that.
Yeah. And we do a lot of, I think something that I will bring to Jackson County that I don't think we've quite focused on a lot upcoming is something called spin clubs and after school programming. So Jackson County actually very excitedly will be hiring a new 4-H program assistant. So we'll be hiring another 4-H support staff member in the near future. And that person's job will specifically be to lead after-school programming in the areas of STEM and healthy living in the local schools. And
Love
so
that.
the kids that participate in those programs are 4-H members. They are a part of that after-school club, and so they can get involved that way. So if they can't be a part of the traditional community club, go to camp, go to fair experience, they can be a part of these really neat after-school opportunities as well.
That's wonderful. Good for you.
Yep, I'm excited.
Yeah, because again, a lot of kids might not be able to get there or whatever. And that's wonderful.
Yep.
Yeah. So will that be in each of the schools or how does that work?
We're hoping to really focus in on some of the elementaries, I think, and
Sure.
maybe early middle schools. So I know specifically there's a specific need in Wellston.
Okay.
So Bundy Elementary and kind of that area. But we'll definitely be, as the years go, trying to get into all of the schools and get programming into everyone.
Great. That's wonderful. And could you explain a little bit about, 4-H, the ages? Because when I was in 4-H a few years ago, they didn't have things like clover buds and all of that. And so now that's a whole other program.
Yeah.
So can we talk about that for a minute and explain, it may confuse people how there's clover buds and different ages.
Yeah. So 4-H is for all. So if you think that you can't be involved in 4-H in some way, you can. I promise you. So we have our clover buds who are ages 5 to 7 years old.
Okay.
They're not quite in 3rd grade yet. And so our clover buds, they're our little ones. They meet in,
cute.
I know, they're so adorable. They meet in a community club format most of the time. So they join a 4-H club. We have clover bud projects that they can take, activities that they can do. We have specific training for some of our clover bud advisors that they can use to work with kids in that age group. And then our traditional 4-Hers are age 8 and in the 3rd grade to age 18 as of January 1. So they kind of have that whole 10-year process to go through the 4-H program. You talked about having that extra year after college.
I did, yeah.
We have that January 1, your age as of January 1. So I had that as well. So I was 18 as of January 1. But my birthday, I turned 19 that following spring, so you kind of had that extra year. So that happens pretty often too.
Yep.
And it's really great to see those older youth come back and help with camp, help mentor in clubs, help be a part of junior fair board, junior leaders, those teen leaders that we need in our communities. So we love seeing our older youth come back. Our typical camping age is that beginner, that 8-year-old to kind of 12-year-old, and then junior high camp, like 13, 12, 13, 14.
So you have different ages for camp.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yes. And then we offer a teen camp as well. So typically your teens, as they get 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, they can't be campers anymore. And so we actually give them an opportunity to come back to camp and be campers at our teen camp every June.
Okay.
So that's a really fun camp. Josh and I went to it as kids too.
Very good. And let's see. So we may as well spill the tea here. You two are a couple, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So they're so cute. You guys are adorable. Okay. So Josh, could you tell us a little bit about how your job ties in with 4-H and how you two will work together?
Yeah, so it's going to dip in a little bit together just on some small things, kind of like, the county fair, whenever all the animals come, it's a big operation, so they're definitely going to need some help for that.
Yeah.
But more of my job is more of specifically the customer's needs, so out and about, so like how to get my animal to grow so they can go to the fair. So like what are those minerals that this animal needs to grow so it can do better at the fair. So it's more of like to get it to the point and then to go at the fair. But also the ones even not at the fair, just to grow them out to be better at market.
Right, just to be better at what you're doing.
Yeah, and it'd also be some more programming for like she said, through the schools, possibly working with some FFA chapters just to give us some different types of programming like they may have not seen in the FFA. Just trying to bring in as much as I can from Ohio State and the surrounding counties to Jackson County.
Now, do you work, would you work with both FFA and 4-H then?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so let's talk about that whole topic for a minute because I think that's very confusing for people too. Can we explain the difference between FFA and 4-H?
Yes.
And can people be both?
Yeah, you want to explain on the fair part?
Yeah, so the best way I like to explain the difference between FFA and 4-H is FFA is formal education, so it's based in the schools, and 4-H is non-formal education, and it's based outside school. So even though we do school programming, it's after school programming, right?
I see.
So
Okay.
FFA is in the schools. They have a school curriculum. They are taught by certified teachers and educators in the schools. And so when it comes to the fair time, and 4-Hers, we have those younger age kids, and then FFA members are typically 7th, 8th, and then up high school.
Okay.
And so at the fair, we have both FFA and 4-H exhibitors. I don't have the numbers off the top of my head. I wish I did, but we do work closely with our FFA chapters. Josh and I actually sit on some of the FFA chapters advisory boards.
Yes.
So we kind of can help bring in OSU extension ideas and programming to our FFA boards as well. But yeah, I mean, we work as much as we can with our FFA chapters and kind of get them the resources that they need and bring them into the program as well.
Like it's not like gang wars or
No.
FFA versus 4-H.
You'll find a lot
In a
of
Jello wrestling match. No, I'm just kidding.
a lot of your FFA members are 4-H members and vice versa.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and again, that can cross over.
Yes, yeah.
So
And
depending on what your
FFA,
project is.
they offer a lot of really cool opportunities for our kiddos that 4-H doesn't. So
Yes.
the National FFA Convention
Yes.
and a lot of these really cool competitions that they can do that we don't quite do in 4-H.
Like
so,
pretty neat stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
Like judging and all of
Mhm.
these competitions that they can go to. And as you said, this is like when you go to your high school, you have an FFA like class.
Mhm.
Like it's part of your schooling.
Yes.
So that's kind of the main difference there.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you can do all of it,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
which is really neat because you can get like all the different aspects of it.
Yep.
So, okay. Let's see. What else should we talk about? What do you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, so I'm just excited, to bring, like I said, the agricultural program back to Jackson County. One thing that we're really working on right now is getting pesticide training. So a lot of our farmers in the area, they'd have to go to a different county to do their pesticide training. So what it is a training that allows them to get a certification to use certain types of pesticides on their fields.
Oh,
So in the past, they would have to go either to Pike, Gallia, Scioto, wherever to get the training done. We're bringing that back to Jackson County. I've kind of scheduled the dates, so we're looking roughly in February. We'll be having one of those trainings back in Jackson County.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then plus different program ideas. We've got a Woodland Stewardship Opportunity event that's happening this October 6th.
What?
Woodland Stewardship Opportunity.
What is that?
So what it is they're going to go to Woodland's Jax Walker. He's over on like the Gallia Jackson line, and he's got a woodland where he's like did different types of conservation acts, to help grow his woodland and, potentially make more profit off of it, but mainly just grow it. And
So you're talking about like growing trees
Correct.
to be able to harvest
Yeah.
for money.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
woodland that's in trees to harvest for timber.
You lost me at Woodland, but I'm catching up now.
So it's a free it's a free event. If anybody has questions, they can call the extension office. But it's a free event where you can just learn how to better if you have any type of woodland on your property. I know I was looking Ohio. I was watching something, but it said Ohio is it's the number one state in hardwood sales. So
Really?
many people don't know that. So I seen that on, I can't remember what video it was. But
Probably YouTube because that's where
Probably.
everything is.
Probably. But so Ohio was number one in hardwood sales. So if you have woodlands and you want to learn more, feel free to give us a call and we can sign you up. Like I said, it's free. So.
And I think so all of this is a science. So like we can all go out and we can plant our pansies or whatever it is and they grow and fine, or you can plant your little vegetable garden and it grows in pots or whatever we all want to be farmers do. But there's so much skill and to it, and there's so much knowledge right here in our area, and I think that's kind of where you come in, is to tap all of that and get everybody going in the right direction to where they can get the best knowledge, right?
Oh yeah, and it's a big learning process. Like I said, I'm coming into with kind of like a small ruminants livestock background and seeing the agronomic crops out there. I'm learning too. So a lot of farmers are teaching me different stuff about everything. So we were just looking at the beers over there. They have cover crop corn where it's providing different nutrients going back in their cover crops, providing nutrients going back in the field. And then they grow their corn on it, and don't have to fertilize it as much and add different types of pesticides to it.
Crazy. crazy stuff.
And I think I'll speak with Josh in saying that if there is something that the community is interested in, if they want more information on small ruminants or XYZ, whatever it is that they're interested in, reach out. If Josh doesn't know the answer, he can find the answer for you. We have a plethora of information from the university, from our colleagues around us, and we can absolutely either find a program for you to attend or maybe even work with you to develop one that would be beneficial to the community.
You know, and I think that's the thing. So like, what do you all need? They're here to help.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, that's why, you know, you have a job and that's what it's for. So that's very, very cool. And, you know, whether you want to learn to grow hops or you want to learn to grow, you know, asparagus, like, cool.
Yeah. So like I said,
Give them a call.
like I said, I might not have the answer for you, but Ohio State has many program specialists that I can reach out to, and they like working with that. So that's their job.
What if you just want the deer to stop eating your garden?
Well,
Put up a fence is all I can say.
that's another problem.
You get that stinky stuff from Callahan Hardware, James.
You know, that stinky stuff, it works pretty good, but you got to keep putting it out every couple of weeks.
Yeah, that stinky stuff that smells like
your
pee.
hands.
Yeah.
Well, technically, it smells like rotten eggs. But
Yeah, don't get it up your nose. That's
Yeah.
all we can tell you about that.
No.
Oh, we should have brought our strips in to see if they're super tasters.
Oh, what?
What?
Our strips?
My strips.
Your strips, yes.
My strips.
Yes.
It's a really long story.
It's
So-
not that long of a story.
Okay, I'll tell you my story
Okay.
while you guys are here. So we have the brewery in town. So my husband got put on the Ohio Craft Brewers Association board, and so they had a retreat recently, and they got to talking about people that have better palates than others and whatever, and they started talking about there are people out there that are genetically super tasters. So there are these strips that you can buy, and you put them on your tongue, and just like for a second, and you either taste paper, which is what James and I tasted, and pretty much everybody here tasted, or if you are genetically a super taster, which means you can taste all the nuances and different things like that. Well, you don't tell anyone this because it's a cruel joke, but it goes like bitter, like bad bitter, like bad.
Ooh.
And so we did that here, like with everybody in here except for I think Alex and a couple of people. And yesterday, and like I think Rodney tasted bitter and Matt tasted bitter, and that was like it. And the rest of us just tasted paper, right? So poor Alex comes in, and I was like, "Hey, do you want to see if you're a super taster or not?" And he was like, "Sure." And he like went like that, and it was like a quarter of a second. He was like, "Oh!" I was like, "I'm so sorry." Oh my God.
Yeah, cilantro tastes like soap to me, so I have a feeling I'm not a super taster.
You know, I've heard that to a lot of people that cilantro tastes like soap.
Say, I can't tell the difference between Coke and Pepsi, so I don't think
Yeah, you're probably not a super taster. I could definitely taste that. I could definitely tell
I can taste that too.
Yeah, you're way down there
Yeah.
in the genetic pool.
I'd eat about anything, so they all taste the same.
And I wonder though too, like we were just talking about it after the fact. We were talking about the fact that wonder how COVID affected people with their with their palates and all that too. Because when you lose your taste and smell and it comes back, I don't think it really comes back all the way and all that. So. But anyway, so that happened yesterday. So y'all missed it, but we could have had you try it to see.
Man.
I know you guys are upset about that.
So devastated.
That would be fun for a 4-H club, though.
Yeah,
That would be like a fun
really neat.
experiment.
That would be really
And I mean,
neat.
literally, I got 100 strips for $4 on Amazon or something. Like, it's like so easy. And
Wow. I'll have
it's
to
just
remember that.
a stupid experiment to try. But the kids would know
Yeah.
growing up. So there you go. So there's my first
Interesting.
volunteer project.
There you go. Get
There
us
you
some test strips and we'll do it.
We won't let them sample beer, but we will let them find out whether they're super tasters or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
That's a good one. But no, there are so many things here in the area. Is this a sticky subject, or why have we not had your position in a while?
Just for funding reasons. So I'll just leave it at that. Just different types of funding, but we've had a lot of commissioners that are currently on that are really really positive about this position. So they've worked really hard. And they finally found some money to fund the position.
Good.
So-
Okay. Yeah, because we've gone through different sets of commissioners that are 4-H or 4-H, just depends. And that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and that's why they're elected is to, you know, budget the money and all of that. And you get that.
Mhm.
So very, very cool. So who works the farm out there?
Yeah, so we
You?
have. I do not. I do
You're
not.
like, I do not.
Nope. Say we have 3 different guys out there. So we have
Okay.
Scott Payne, Cliff, and we've got.
Ryan.
He's
no.
gonna yell at me. Oh man.
Put him on the spot.
Oh, we got another guy. Cut that out.
Okay. Well, I know like our friend Paul
Yeah.
Brown worked out there for a long time and all of that. And I think he retired and whatever. But there's so much to do out on that property. It is insane.
Oh yeah. So
How many acres are out there?
Just roughly about 500, just under 500. So part of it's owned by Ohio State, and then the other's owned by the county commissioners, which is leased through Ohio State
Sure.
for a small amount of money for I think a total of 30 to 40 years. So it's a good opportunity, like I said.
And that's why we get to, if you ever get the opportunity to go to the WKOV tower
Oh, yeah.
up on the hill, you get to wade through some stuff to get to the tower sometimes, depending on where the cows are at the moment.
And Justin Spangler, that's his name. It just blanked on me.
Good job.
He's gonna hit me.
He's
Yeah.
probably going to hit
Spangler
you.
will
He's
be
probably
mad
gonna
at
hit me.
Yeah. But no, that's cool. And so all of that, all of those animals out there are, you know, you don't want to say are like experiments or anything, but they're, you know, you're learning through that and learning how they graze and their habits and all of those things and insemination and all that fun stuff. So yeah.
I feel like when the sheep are in their pasture out in front of the extension office,
By the pond.
I never get any work done because they're right there in front of me and I just watch them out my window all day.
They're so cute.
They are.
Now, I've noticed that some of them are like marked. What is that about?
I cannot tell you. I personally do not know.
So you don't, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because some of them will
Depends
have
on their
like-
research.
That sounded
yeah.
like if I tell you, I'd have to kill you.
I was getting ready to say that. So you'll have to kill
Jesus,
me.
what are they doing with their sheep?
Yeah, I don't think the sheep on the farm are bred. I think they're just used for grazing. But typically in a sheep operation, if you see a sheep that has a marking on it, it's for breeding. So whether that's to mark that sheep is ready to be bred or it has been bred,
Okay.
or there's lots of different methods that they use when it comes to ink marking and stuff like that.
No,
I know they can do it with goats as
It
well.
could also be the cattle I know on the farm. They have different color ear tags, and
Mhm.
that comes from where they come from. So different facilities that they're
Mhm.
from.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So-
Mark their
Just-
age or
Just
different things.
identifying them
Yep.
in particular. Because, I mean, you know, there's like 300 black cows out there. Like,
Yeah, how do you tell them apart?
I mean, like, I'm sure if you really got to know them, you could tell them apart. But
Yeah.
yeah, it would be really hard.
And it might be helpful if a certain animal got sick and it was treated. We might need to know to watch that animal and see how it's healing up or just anything like that. It just might be to identify that
Sure.
specific animal.
That makes sense. So now you know.
Now you know.
Now you know all of that. All right. Well, guys, is there anything else you would like our viewers to know? We're so excited to have you both here in the area. And I can tell, you know, you all are excited to be here and get kicked off and get things going.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here at Jackson County 4-H. We're excited to just get things going and everything. I would like to say that we appreciate the community support. I know that, you know, our 4-H, we rely on fundraising a lot.
Yes.
And so we fund a lot of our own programming and stuff. So actually, I'll just go ahead and plug. We've got some fundraisers happening right now if you're interested in supporting Jackson County 4-H. Our biggest one right now is our 4-H discount cards that seem to be so popular. We got them in at the Apple Festival. We sold quite a few of them at the Apple Festival, but they're a $5 discount card. They get you a discount at over 17 businesses in the community.
Yep.
So stop by the extension office, contact a 4-H advisor that you might know, and get your discount card because that really helps out our program a lot. We also have a beef stick fundraiser. We sell beef sticks, and I have a singular box of candy bars in my office that needs sold. So we have one box left to sell. So
and they are good.
And they are good. So stop by the extension office, buy a candy bar, buy a beef stick, buy a discount card, and support our program. We really appreciate it.
Okay.
Yeah. And if anybody has any ideas for programming they want to see, feel free to stop by or just give us a call. Say, we're all ears. We want to hear what the community wants to do. So that's our job, is to help the community. So if you want to see something, come tell us, and we'll get it. We'll get it going.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's kind of the whole point, and we hope that you utilize these folks. And you guys are wanting suggestions.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure. Is there anything new, Maddie, that you would like to implement that maybe hasn't been in 4-H thus far? I know the after-school programs is a big one.
Yeah, that is a big one, is kind of getting that going. And that is a statewide process. So Jackson County received a grant targeting, these Southeast Ohio communities that don't have access to technology and high-speed internet. And, we do struggle here in Jackson County with rural broadband. So getting these kiddos access to tech and STEM education. So that's really exciting. That's kind of the biggest new thing. I am really passionate about grant writing. I've written 3 grants in my few short weeks. So getting some grant money in here to offer some programs that we don't normally have. I hope to bring back some sort of winter or early spring project fair that is open to 4-Hers and non-4-Hers alike, so they can come in, they can see demonstrations and exhibits of different projects that they can take and learn that 4-H is not just livestock. And so they can kind of come in and physically see those thousands of projects that we offer in 4-H.
And literally you can invent your own if you want.
And you can, yes, absolutely. My little brother, he didn't like any of the projects in 4-H, but basketball is his passion. And so every year he would do a self-determined basketball project, and he would teach our club how to dribble and how to do tricks. And then throughout the year, we would play basketball at every meeting.
That.
So if there is something that you are passionate about or something that you're interested in, there is a place for you in 4-H here in Jackson. So that's kind of what I'm excited to look forward to is kind of get those things going here and get more opportunities to kids out there.
Good. Love that. And as 4-Hers, I assume you were both 4-Hers.
Yep.
What did it mean to you? How do you feel like it shaped your life?
Yeah, so it shaped my life very severely. That sounded real bad. My mom was a 4-H educator in Gaggy County, so I just kind of grew up in it. So every time there was a program, I was at it. So it definitely made me the person who I am. 4-H camp over at Canner's Cave, that definitely gave me all the soft skills I needed to be successful at Ohio State. So, one big issue about this area is like when you don't really want to leave the area. And then once you do, it's kind of hard because you're in a whole different swimming pool.
Sure.
So you're in an area where people aren't the same as back home. So being from 4-H, that took me from Canner's Cave to different types of state camps. And those state camps gave me the different, different people interaction. So when I went up to Ohio State, it wasn't as much as a culture shock as it was.
Yeah. Ditto to everything that he said. And 4-H, it teaches our kids, things that you wouldn't think. Like you think, it teaches you about a specific livestock project, or it teaches them about, actual tangible skill like sewing or cooking. But it also teaches you those things that you don't really realize that it teaches you, like how to be a self-starter, how to be ambitious, how to think forward and think towards your future. And so I think that was the biggest impact for me when it came to 4-H. And like Josh said, going up to Ohio State, I was a little fish in a great big pond.
Sure.
So I really think that 4-H helped me make the most out of my time at Ohio State and connect with a lot of people, especially people that were different than me. Because like Josh said, like here down in Southeast Ohio, we all look the same, we all act the same, we all think the same. And so going up to Ohio State, I met a lot of people who look and act and speak differently than me. And it was really cool to have that 4-H experience where I got to go on state and national and even learn through some international experiences that I had to kind of interact with those people at Ohio State and get that different experience. So I really appreciate my 4-H experience, not only of those tangible skills that it taught me, I can tell you anything about a rabbit, but it also taught me some things that I guess I didn't realize that it was teaching me until after my experience.
You don't. Yep. And that's the whole thing. And you're having fun while you're learning all this stuff. Yes. And I think that that's the main thing. And, you're learning to think outside the box a lot, especially with livestock projects.
Yes. When you're trying to chase down a sheep in the ring.
Yeah. Like, what am I? Oh, my horse is like literally being a complete butthole right now. Why is that? How am I going to solve this problem quickly before I have to go back in the arena?
Yep.
So funny story. This is not funny, but it happened. so I was getting ready to go into showmanship with my horse. I just remembered this. And, you know, fairs are full of, shall we just say flies, because they're just flies at the fair.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of my friends was walking by. He's like, hey, I have some extra fly spray. You want me to put it on? I was like, yeah, sure. Anything that you can do for showmanship to get them to stand still, cool. And I had this great big ginormous horse. And so he sprays it, walks away, and he immediately broke out in welts all over his body.
Oh, no.
I mean, and it was like 5 minutes before I was getting to go in the ring. So again, this is problem solving 101, right? So we're like, oh my God. So someone, you know, it's like, run and get a bucket of water, like wipe all this stuff off. And, you know, so, and luckily it went mostly down by the time I went in. But I mean, these are all things that you're learning and you're dealing with and like panic situations and all of that you're not realizing that you're dealing with because you're having fun while you're doing it. So.
And then you touched on kind of that teamwork aspect of
Yes.
it. Run and get a bucket
Somebody
of water. Somebody help, right?
Water and a sponge.
Yes.
And somebody did.
And so 4-H, the thing I love the most, and I think that impacted me the most about 4-H was the people that I met.
Yes.
And so whether that's, you know, camp counselors at 4-H camp, Josh and I met at 4-H camp. And so, you know, just like being able to kind of meet those people. And when I came to Ohio State, I got involved in the collegiate 4-H club at Ohio State because that provided me of community of people that, you know, knew what 4-H was, and it was kind of that like-minded thing. And so just 4-H in general, I think, provides people with something similar and something that they can relate to about each other. And so I think it's really cool to be able to walk into a room and not know a single person and then be able to walk out and leave that room later that day and feel like you're best friends with everybody. So that's something I love about 4-H, and I think that I appreciate the most about my 4-H involvement.
I agree, and you're learning that from a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So you're learning to be generous with your time and all of that. Also, you know, when I was in 4-H a few years ago, you know, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have Facebook, we didn't have any of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you touched on a minute ago. I met so many people that I'm still friends with today because of 4-H. And maybe you only saw them once a year at the fair.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Wellston was 8 miles away, but like you just didn't get there very often. So, you know, you had friends from there and there were your fair friends.
Or even camp. I mean,
or camp,
Jackson County, we camp with 6 other counties this summer. So
correct.
I would have probably never met Josh because he was from Gallia County and I was from Vinton. And so, you know, it's even that aspect of being able to meet those friends from outside of the county and pursue those friendships. And then you see them again at camp the next year, and then you grow up and you become camp counselors together, and it just continues. And so it's a really cool process to see that kind of the kids grow up together at camp. And I love camp. Camp is probably one of my favorite 4-H programs that we do.
That's so cool.
I'm very passionate about camp, so I'm really excited for the summer.
Yeah. So, and we have Cantor's Cave right here. So you don't have to go far, number one. And, Jenna. Hi, Jenna. So she was one of my 4-H friends.
Yeah, hi, Jenna.
So yeah, because she was in 4-H a few years ago as well. We're not going to tell on ourselves, but no, I think that you're exactly right. You know, camp and all of that, and Cantor's Cave is such a great facility, and we're so fortunate to have it.
Yes, absolutely. So. And I think November 5th, I'll just plug another thing.
Yeah, what do you got going on?
We've got our Friends of 4-H banquet happening at Cantor's Cave, so come on out to Cantor's. I'll get a flyer out and everything like that for that coming up soon. But we'll have our big banquet to help support Cantor's and support 4-H as well. So we'll get some information on that as well. Have a big auction, a big dinner. It'll be really fun.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like fun.
And I plan on, for 4-H at least, doing a monthly newsletter. So we'll put out a monthly newsletter of things happening in the 4-H world each month, important deadlines, new sign-up information, events that people can attend for our teens, scholarship information, leadership opportunities, I mean, all of the things. And then every year we will mail everyone a calendar so they can keep up to date as well. So if you're interested in getting involved in 4-H, whatever, reach out, give us a call, stop by the extension office, and I'd love to have a chat with you.
That's right. And so both of your offices are at the extension office there on Standpipe.
Yep.
You can't miss it. The ginormous brick building there by the pond.
And we're getting a facelift. So, there's a bit of construction happening outside the extension office right now. But we are getting a new roof and new siding, so we're going to be scarlet and gray. So our roof is kind of a silvery gray, and then our siding is this metal kind of rusty red scarlet color. That's really pretty. So, Yep. Come by and just see the building.
Love that. That's so exciting. And while you're here, you actually have a room for rent too, right? Or do you use that anymore?
Kind of.
Kind of a community room?
Yeah, we do have a community room at the extension office. We are in the process. We'll probably update that on the first of the year because that room is the rental is controlled by OSU South Centers in Piketon.
Oh, okay.
And so if you want to rent that room, you contact OSU South Centers in Piketon. But here in the near future, I think that we will be able to start renting that room ourselves here in Jackson, and you'll be able to just call our office. But we'll update you that when it happens.
There you go. And if all else fails, call them. They can get you in the right direction.
And if you want updates for us, make sure you follow us on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, so any type of programming or events or just anything we have that we want to share, it's usually posted on Facebook. So,
what is the Facebook page?
I believe it's Jackson County Extension, OSU Extension Jackson County. It's one of those. If you type it in the search bar, you'll find it.
You'll find it. Yep.
Very good. And that's the whole
Jackson County OSU Extension.
Yep.
Okay. And James will put that in the comments so you can just click on that and then like it, share it.
Yeah.
Do all that. Do all the things that you can do on Facebook.
Poke it.
I forgot to do that.
I don't think so.
I never even understood what that was about.
It was always weird to me, like when somebody
why are you poking me?
I don't know.
Like I don't get that.
Don't poke.
Don't do that. That's not cool. Friends don't let friends do that. Well, very good, guys. Thank you so much for spending your morning with us, and I'm so glad that the community can get to meet you. If you want to just talk to them, give them a ring, stop out by. Be happy to visit with people, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, another thing I'll plug is the haunted barn at the fairgrounds. I almost forgot.
Oh my gosh.
Jamie would be so mad at me if I didn't plug the haunted barn. So the Jackson County Livestock Committee, they put on a haunted barn every year at the fairgrounds. This year, it's just on Saturday nights. It is not going to be on the first weekend of October, but the last 4 weekends.
Okay.
Saturday night, they'll do the haunted barn. It's from 8 to midnight. And it's $15 per person. And they have put in so much work this year to make this haunted barn super cool. We haven't had one for the last couple years because of COVID and such. Right. So they've had just an accumulation of
they're really pumped.
Haunted things. Yeah. So from what I have been told, it is going to be amazing. So
can't wait. It's
come
always
to the haunted barn.
A huge deal.
Yeah. And it supports our livestock and our 4-H and FFA programs at the fair. So it's a huge fundraiser for the livestock committee. So if something ever happens at the fairgrounds that needs fixed, or if people want to see new grooming stations or just upgrades to the fairgrounds, that's where that money comes from. So we'd love to see you out at the haunted barn and stop by. And I think we're going to have some food there and different things like that as well for you guys. So we're really excited about that.
And that's such a big deal. And that's a really good point that you make too. I mean, the barns, all of the fairgrounds, it has to be updated all the time.
Yes.
And kept to code and all of these things. And it all takes money and it takes time and volunteers. And so please get out support.
Yep. We appreciate it so much.
4-H is a good thing kids can do.
Yes.
And FFA. Like that's something positive that they can do.
Yes.
And so we need to encourage that instead of doing bad things.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. And it's been a blast. Come back anytime you guys have something fun to talk about.
Absolutely. Yeah, we definitely will.
Yeah. And we won't talk about insemination, right?
Try not to. I'll try not to.
I'm never going to let you live that down.
Every time we come back on the show, it's going to get brought up.
That's fine.
It's so going to get brought up. I want you to bring a glove.
We could do a remote broadcast and they could show you how to do it, Jen.
Could we? He's like, no,
I'll have to check
absolutely not. I just want you to bring in one of the gloves.
He could probably make that happen.
Yeah, I can do that.
Probably can't bring in a cow.
We're good.
I've seen Jackass. I know how you do it.
I don't think Johnny Knoxville's licensed either.
Well, probably not.
But I do have his pennies.
It's true. You do have Johnny Knoxville's pennies.
I do have his pennies. That's a whole other story. I got his pennies in Vegas. He gave me his pennies.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. They're like, we don't care. All right, guys, get out of here. Thank you so much. It was so fun talking with you. Good luck this year. You guys are going to kill it.
I appreciate you. We're excited. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Very, very good. All right, James, you got the weather over there because
So speaking of the weather, we have breaking news.
Oh no.
Buckeye Furnace Fall Festival has been canceled due to the weather.
What?
Yep. So they are not going to postpone it. They're just going to cancel it and wait until next year.
You're kidding.
That is the news.
Oh, I'm so sad. That was going to be such a great event.
It's true.
Stupid Ian.
Yep.
You suck. We don't like you.
Yep. No hog calling contest this year.
Here, piggy, piggy, piggy. No.
But so here is your weather forecast.
So yes, there's also another event hosted by Faith and Fitness that will be postponed. It's supposed to be tomorrow at the park. Will be postponed until the following weekend. Thanks, guys. Till the following weekend because of this rain as well. So there you go. So today is actually looking good. They do say the rain will be coming in overnight tonight. So if you have anything to do outside, today would be a perfect day because look at that. You're going to have some sunshine, some highs of 69 degrees. But again, that rain will come in later this evening. Hopefully not before the high school football games get over with. So we'll keep our fingers crossed on that. But Saturday, unfortunately, that hurricane weather is creeping up our direction. And as it's hitting the Carolinas right now, will be, I know we live in Ohio, but yes, we are having remnants of the hurricane and it is going to nail us tomorrow. And that will be on the 1st of October. Can you believe that? So rain, and highs of only 59 degrees tomorrow. So not looking the best. Sunday, kind of the same. That chance of rain tomorrow, or on Sunday, about 40%, highs of 65. And then next week, looking much better again with highs near 70 pretty much every day and no rain in the forecast.
So that's showing the high of 59 and
Yes.
a low of 52.
Yes.
It's not very wide margin.
I know. It's
You need
weird.
to get cold. That is weird.
I'm going to tell you, I can deal with rain when it's, 75.
Yeah.
Rain
not when
and
it's 50.
59.
It's pretty rough.
That's a
Yeah.
roll up
That's
in a blanket and don't leave the house kind of day for me.
Yeah.
Like,
Not
no.
into that.
No, thank you.
Yeah. I agree.
And I hate it because there were so many great events planned for tomorrow, including the Buckeye Furnace Fall Festival. And they worked so hard
It's
to
true.
plan that. And unfortunately,
Yeah.
it just didn't work out.
Yeah. Well, that's the way it goes sometimes, I
It
guess. You mentioned football Friday night.
Yes.
It is Saturday, September 30th. So that means homecoming, Jackson Ironman taking on Hillsboro.
Yes.
Oak Hill traveling to Wheelersburg. Benton County traveling to Warren, and Wilson also celebrating homecoming versus Nelsonville, York.
Okay. So some big games this
Yep,
weekend.
all those games are scheduled broadcast time at 6:45. Check if you don't know which station is which. Download the Total Media Radio app.
That's right.
You can listen to them all right
And
there
you
on
can
your
listen-
phone.
That's right. And you can listen to all those high school games.
Yep.
And or if you're at a high school game and want to know what's going on at another game, which is
Yep.
what a lot of people do, you can tune in that way as
Yep.
well on your phone.
And if you have an Android phone, we had some issues with the app that
Oh.
has been fixed now.
Oh, great.
But you will have to reinstall it.
Reinstall the app.
Yes.
Well, it only takes like 2 seconds to
It's true.
install the app.
Yep.
So super easy.
Yeah.
All right. So Mr. James has on his Bengals
Yeah, my
sweatshirt.
officially licensed Bengals apparel,
Amanda. Miss Rule follower.
Yep. Calling you out.
Just calling you out, Amanda. She's not the rule follower she professes to be.
Yep.
But no, Bengals played last night on the strangest thing because Jamie's like, turn on the Bengals game. I'm like, cool. Where's the Bengals game? It was on Amazon.
Yeah.
So strange.
Because millennials don't have cable.
Isn't that odd?
No, it's not. Live sports needs to be on streaming more. We don't want to pay for cable.
God. No, it's been on
Yes.
cable for 3,000 years
Yeah,
and needs to
and
continue.
No. It's dead. You don't even have cable. You have Dish.
Same thing.
Yeah, but, still.
I know. But no, so
It was on Amazon.
it was on Amazon.
Yeah.
So it took me a minute to find it because I was like,
Mhm.
having to like ask my TV. I have one of
Yeah.
those like remote
Uh-huh.
assistant. I'm like, where are the
Where's
Bengals?
Joe Burrow at?
And it was like,
Where's Joe? I wanna watch Joe.
tune into Amazon, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what? So I like just clicked on Amazon, and it
So
like popped right up.
So every Thursday night football game this season is on Amazon.
I didn't know that. Okay, very cool. Well, the Bengals did come out with a W.
They did.
Kind of a close game.
Yeah.
I think the main news though was Tua, whatever his last name is. I'm not even gonna
Tagovailoa.
Tagovailoa or something. Whatever it is. So there's a little scandal surrounding that.
Really?
Because he was injured last night in the game. He was also injured in the game before that.
Yeah. And they didn't put him into the concussion protocol.
People are furious.
Yeah, what they said, it was a back injury, not a head injury or something like that.
There's a whole lot of people going like this now, and a whole lot of people talking in circles trying to get themselves out of trouble because this dude was injured in the last game, had to leave the game. They say that an independent doctor looked at him and he was fine. So they put him back in the game, which people were mad about that. Then yesterday he goes down, and it was one of the most gruesome, like he seized, like his hands and things seized up. They carted him off the field, took him to the hospital. They say he has all of his, movements and all that, and they were going to release him from the hospital so he could fly home with the team. And people are losing their minds about it.
Yeah, which is crazy because they take that concussion stuff so seriously.
I know. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess some people probably think it's too strict, the rules for that stuff.
Well, if you had seen like.
That's what they're trying to avoid.
Last night is
that's why the rules are so strict. They're trying to avoid that happening.
And it was not okay, and it was bad. And I mean, because you watch the replay and you're like, he just got tackled like a It didn't look horrific. It didn't look like a crazy tackle where his head was whipped one way or the other. So that's just how it goes. And but anyway, so I'd say there's going to be some investigation going on with that. You can say, oh, well, that's stupid, or, oh, yeah, we can all have our opinions on that. But it seems to me when somebody's injured in one game and then comes in, and they sent him back in last week.
Yeah.
And then he, played this game, and I don't know about that. So
I don't know.
We're going to have to take care of this kid.
Yeah.
And make sure that and I heard a good point today of some analysts that were talking about that. They were saying, the NFL's job and the doctors' jobs are to prevent these guys from themselves.
Yeah.
Because they want to play. Obviously they want to play. Somebody needs to protect them from themselves.
Yeah.
So that's where the doctors and things are supposed to come in and say, dude, no.
It's an interesting situation.
It is. And I understand as a team owner or a team leader or whatever, you're like, I need that guy to play.
Right.
But
well,
not at the expense of his health and career.
Right.
So anyway, that's my soapbox for the day. But it was a scary event that happened last night.
It's true. It was a good game, though.
I didn't watch the second half of the game.
You didn't watch the half when they won?
No. So I didn't know what happened until I woke up this morning.
Yeah. Well, I stayed up and watched it all into the wee hour of 11 p.m.
I know. I'm like, I think I went to bed. I think it was definitely the second half.
And I woke up this morning and I was feeling pretty tired. I was like, I went to bed at 11.
I am so
Why am I so tired?
Because we're old. That's why.
Yeah, I guess so. But how about them white jerseys?
I know.
It's pretty sharp.
It was.
It's pretty sharp.
Pretty cool. And it's a little confusing at first because you turn it on and you're like, is that the right game?
Yeah, they look like the white Power Ranger.
Yes, completely.
The saber-toothed tiger guy or whatever. I think that's what he was.
The white Power Ranger. Yeah. Did I ever tell you about the time I had to work the Power Rangers event at the convention center?
No. Did they give you their pennies?
No. but they gave me a card that I had to participate with.
Okay.
No, so I was in a sorority at Capitol. We had to do volunteer hours, right? So one of our volunteer hours, which wasn't a really sucky thing, was you had to go be an usher at the convention center.
Yeah.
Well, you got to see some cool concerts too, but I had to work the Power Rangers event. And let me just tell you, I was a basket case by the time I left there. The kids and the parents and it was insane.
I bet my mother is lucky that she did not know that that was a thing, or I didn't know that was a thing that demanded to go to. We're being joined by Pete Wilson.
Ooh, Pete
Are you
Wilson
here to tell us about Buckeye Fall Fest, or you got something new?
Okay.
We got it, sir.
We got it
we're on top
already.
of it.
Unfortunately, yes.
Breaking news.
Again, Buckeye Furnace Fall Festival is being canceled for tomorrow, and we hate that.
Right. And also, we might want to say this, the flashing red lights in Jackson.
Oh, yeah. Come on over, Pete.
Excuse me. The flashing red lights in Jackson, we've had at those 8 or 9 intersections in town.
Yes.
Starting Monday, don't know how soon it'll take place, they will be changing to 4-way stops.
Okay.
So motorists should be aware of that. A lot of them are in the downtown area or close to the downtown area on Broadway, Main, like that, and State Street.
Okay.
So motorists should be aware the 4-way flashing red lights will be changing to 4-way stops.
And the stop signs are up. Okay, everybody
they're
confess.
already up, but that was a transition.
Everybody confess. I confess I've done it numerous times. How many of you have pulled up to the red light that's flashing and sat there and waited for it to turn green? I've done it.
Oh, I sat there for like
times.
2 minutes one day.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't feel so bad. I told Jamie
I'm guilty too.
You're just sitting there and you see the red light
And
you're
I
like,
talk about it or write about it every day.
it's just habit. They've been that way for so long that you see the red light and you just sit there and you're like looking and then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm an idiot.
Okay.
Till somebody's beeping at you or flipping you off and then.
Hey, while we got Pete here, real quick, we got to get out of here. Pete, give us your prediction tonight. Jackson and is it Warren? No.
Hillsborough. Okay, well, the Ironmen are heavy favorites. Hillsborough has a 3-3 record. They're no pushover, but they are not, at least based on recent history, the caliber of some of these teams we've had to be playing.
Okay.
But, between the ears means everything. The Ironmen have to be ready. It's homecoming. We don't want to be crying on at the end of the homecoming game,
No,
do we?
we do not.
Right. So homecoming at Jackson, homecoming at Wellston. The other two teams, Oak Hill's on the road at Wheelersburg, and Vinton County is going to Warren Local.
Yep.
You can listen to them all on the radio.
There you go. Whoop, whoop. And the Total Media Radio app.
Right. And I see that it was safe for James to wear his Bengal pullover. Right.
I like that sweatshirt.
Officially licensed Bengals.
Yeah, Amanda. Not a knockoff fake Bengals shirt like Amanda wears, Miss Rule Follower.
Right. And might we add that the Miami Dolphins were undefeated until they came to town last night?
Nice.
Very nice.
Very good.
Did you see that play where the Dolphins punter punted the ball into his own guy's
his butt? That was great.
The trajectory was just not there.
I'm like cooking dinner, like watching it. I'm like, what just happened? And they replayed it. They're like, it went into his butt. That was classic.
Yeah, okay. I'm sure that'll be on bloopers rolls for years to come.
I will say definitely. I hope his butt is okay. That would hurt.
Talk about a kick in the...
Swift kick in the rear. All right. Got to get out of here, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Pete, for the information. And we will see you back here on Monday. Have a great weekend.
All right. Bye-bye.